Hello there. All right, we have camera for this one because last time I used Streamlabs and the computer couldn't handle that. Now we're using just the inbuilt camera on the computer. Welcome to my very on-time round 1 roundup. I'm trying to watch every single game I can, and for the same reason that I wasn't able to make the round 1 prediction on time, I wasn't able to see a lot of these games. But I'll just tell you what I think about the result, tell you what I've seen from the game, and we'll move on. So first up, we've got Germany-Scotland. Didn't miss this game. I was able to see this game, and Scotland were completely outmatched. I put them down as third. At the moment, it's going to be a shit-off between Hungary and Scotland. It's really just made my predictions not look good for this group. I didn't see Scotland doing this badly. I guess it was biased from watching my country get absolutely peppered by them in the qualifiers. Incredible from Germany. They're looking wonderful. I didn't really see them as potential winners for this competition before the competition, but they really should be. They really should be. And people, I was just starting to see as tournament's about to start, people saying, yeah, they definitely can. They can go all the way. They're the hosts, and they're looking phenomenal. They've got the likes of Musiala. They've got the likes of Wirtz, Havertz. Could be incredible tournament here for Germany. Next is Hungary, Switzerland, and I did get to see this game. I didn't see all of it. I started watching the game while it was 2-1. I was able to watch the last goal, so I didn't actually see the other goals, but from what I saw, it was all Switzerland, and Hungary didn't really look it at all. There was that one absolutely massive striker, wasn't there? But other than that, that's going to be the highlight of Hungary's tournament, it does look like. Moving on to Group B with Spain versus Croatia. Now, this was a very fun game to watch. We absolutely peppered Croatia. I thought the penalty was ridiculous, frankly. It really shouldn't have been a penalty. And if it was a penalty, it should have been a red on top. It's just all-round terrible officiating. The first bad officiating we've seen since the tournament started. And who's at referees apart from the British ones? Of course it was. Of course it was the English referees. But yeah, Unai Simon has shown just how good of a penalty keeper he is. I have backed him and backed him and backed him and backed him since Euros. I think he's a phenomenal keeper. He's coming off his best club season, and I think he'll shine at these Euros and is yet to concede a goal. Fabian was incredible. Lamine Yamal, despite his age, I thought it was ridiculous he was even starting, but he was incredible. I didn't think he should start because of how young he is, but he's started and he's been incredible. Nico Williams, just all-round incredible. Morata scoring another goal for Spain, the highest scorer for Spain in Euros history, and he's extended that. Incredible, just incredible all-round. I was surprised to see Laporte not start, and for it to be Nacho. I didn't think that was a good idea, but we didn't concede. Lamine Yamal's assist was so good. Carvajal had an empty net, and he tucked it away. Moving on now to the other game in Group B, Italy versus Albania. Now, I did watch this game, and before I could even get the game on, Albania had scored. I was like a smack to the face. I couldn't understand it. But I watched Italy scored the 2 goals to come back. They scored the goal right after I'd finished rewatching the goal. 30 seconds it took, if I remember correctly. Then they scored a headed goal, and then I can't remember who it was, but he tucked it away. Albania player kind of ducks his head there, if I remember it. But yeah, and then really nothing after that. I got to watch 2 Italian goals, 0 fit women, and pretty much nothing from Albania, because as I missed the first goal. Albania didn't look too good, really. From that, they just got gifted at the beginning, and then Italy scored 2 and were also dreadful. They weren't very good. They didn't really pose too much threat, and when they did, they just couldn't put it away. Our Group C, first game was Slovenia-Denmark. Now, I did catch the end of this. I didn't see any of the goals, although I did see Šeško twat the post. That would have been something if that went in. But yeah, Slovenia, they don't look too bad. They look quite decent. Eriksson scored at this Euros. It's incredible considering what happened at the last Euros, where, well, we all know what happened at the last Euros, and it's just inspiring to see him come back and score in the competition that it happened in 4 years later. Moving on, Serbia, England. Now, I watched the entirety of this game, and boy, were England dreadful. They got lucky at the beginning with a bit of sloppy defence from Serbia, in my opinion, and Bellingham got to put it away, and then from there, they were all just terrible. It was an awful display from England. Don't know how they won. I do know how they won. Serbia were also not very good. Mitrovic had a good chance, and he smashed it, not even into the post, but the thing that always tricks people into thinking that they've hit the post behind the goal, the thing that holds it up. So that's what playing in Saudi does to you. And it just wasn't good from either team, and England got lucky towards the beginning, put it away, and that was that. Bellingham, despite being a scorer and the man of the match, wasn't good either. There was that moment where he did about 5 fake shots in the edge of the area, had two players outside the box, just outside the box, easily can score. I think it was both, I can't remember who it was. I think one of them was Foden, I can't remember the other one, but I remember them being both players who can score from there. And it's just ridiculous that he would do about 5 million fake shots and then just put it into just lob it, just put that loop on it, and it goes straight to the goalkeeper. Now on to Group D, and the first one was Poland versus the Netherlands. I didn't catch any of this. I just saw the Netherlands win, and I think I can't really comment too much on the game. I didn't watch it, but I think, yeah, that's what I was expecting. I wasn't expecting much from Poland, but they did score. I think I was expecting more of a win from the Netherlands, but they ended up just finishing 2-1, and I think the Netherlands will go on. France versus Austria. Now, this was only 1-0 to France against Austria. I would have expected more. Not only that, it was through an own goal. There was that moment where Mbappe was through and just somehow put it wide. He broke his nose in it. I didn't watch this game, but I have seen some highlights. I haven't seen anything. I didn't see anything from Poland Netherlands, but I have seen some from this. Mbappe doesn't seem like he had a good game from what I saw. Broke his nose and missed a sitter, and that was it from him. That's all we saw from Mbappe. That's all that was really shown, and clearly he didn't score. No France player did. In fact, they needed an Austria player to put it in their own net for them. It was not good from France. I don't know if they absolutely peppered, Spain peppered Italy, and they won 1-0 through an own goal. I don't know if it was one of those, but from what I saw, it just wasn't great. Onwards to Group E. Now, this is where it gets fun. This is the group that fucks my predictions because, well, the two teams I had finishing first and second lost to the teams I had finishing third and fourth. Romania 3, Belgium 0 was a shocker. Was an absolute shocker. I couldn't believe it. I mean, this is what happens when you have a Rayo player playing for your team. You win 3-0. That was Ratiu, of course, who everyone's been shocked by his blue hair that he's had since April. But only now have people taken notice. But Dragusin was very good. I think Tottenham are going to have a tough job picking who to play next season, because we have 3 world-class defenders. Radu, Mickey, and Kuti are all incredible. And Romania showed their quality here, and Lunin was absolutely terrible. I didn't watch the game, but I've seen the goals. It is not great. It was not great from Ukraine. A terrible showing. I really thought they would have done worse. One comment I have to say, like almost immediately after I finished the Romanian predictions, I wanted to put them third above Slovakia, because I thought, no, Slovakia have way less. Surprisingly, Slovakia still won, but still, I saw Romania and I was like, immediately after, I was like, they'll beat Slovakia. They'll lose the other two, but they've beaten Belgium. Ukraine, sorry. And they could probably go and beat Belgium as well. But yeah, crazy from Romania. I'm excited to see what they have on offer later today. Because as of recording today, I've just finished watching the Georgia-Czech Republic match. And then, yeah, there's Belgium-Slovakia, as I just mentioned not too long ago. Slovakia win 1-0 over Belgium, and Romelu Lukaku was two disallowed goals. Very unlucky to have both of those disallowed. Yeah, ridiculous. Group has been flipped on its head. I was thinking to myself, wouldn't it be crazy if Belgium lost to Slovakia as well, and this entire group gets flipped on its head for me? And it's happened. And I think I'm going to get this group dreadfully wrong, and I'm going to be very pleased about it. Many other people are going to be wrong about it, but yeah, boom. My only regret with the group is not picking Romania third, I will say. Now, Group F, the final group, the last two matches to talk about. First up, we've got Turkey, Georgia, and now I was one of the unlucky people who was unable to watch this match, just like all the games from after England v Serbia. And I've heard this game was incredible. I remember watching seeing the goals coming through. I've seen the only goal I've seen so far is the Arda Güler goal, and just wow. Well, just like Switzerland went after they won, I don't see how Turkey can finish bottom after winning a game. And I think I've got them dead wrong. Just like how when everybody doesn't expect something from them, they perform. Nobody expected them from me, at least I didn't expect anything from them, and they performed. And yeah, it looks like Georgia are going to finish bottom in the end, and we'll see how that goes. And then there was Portugal, Czech Republic. Well, I did watch some of this game actually, because some of the people who I was with had it on their phone, and I saw the goals come through. I saw Czech Republic go 1-0 up. I was like, aha, well, there goes my predictions for this group as well. And then I saw Portugal equalise. I didn't see the goal. I saw the disallowed goal. I haven't seen the last minute goal. What I have seen is someone on Twitter say, I can't believe they've just brought on Conceição and brought off Ronaldo. This team is cooked. The jokes write themselves. And yeah, this group is going mid for me right now. Well, it's not actually going. It's like Group A. I've got the first position right, but then second and third not very good, and especially bottom not going great with them. Hello there, and welcome to the round 2 roundup, coming very soon after the round 1 roundup. I just finished editing that video, and it'll be up shortly after I've recorded this. As of right now, the Portugal-Turkey game finished 3 minutes ago. So let's get started with it all. Starting off with the Group A matches. The first Group A match was Germany versus Hungary, and now this finished 2-0 to Germany, and it's Hungary going home. I predicted them second, and they aren't going to qualify. They're most likely not even finishing third. And if they do finish third, I don't think there's any chance of them going through as one of the best third place teams. Though I think they'll be one of the worst third place teams. And they've been really disappointing. I didn't watch this game, but the result, it's not good enough from Hungary. Second Group A match, another match I wasn't able to see. Scotland versus Switzerland, and Scotland have got a point here. I don't know if they were looking better, but it's definitely the better result than before. Scotland have actually gotten a goal across the line, and now I actually did see the goals. Sorry, I did see the goals for this game, actually. Xherdan Shaqiri turned up again. It was a good finish, but a ridiculous mistake from the Scottish back line, a mistake that has probably cost them qualification here. And the goal from McTominay, wow, it's finally a goal for Scotland in this Euros. It was pretty much another own goal. Sommer had that more than covered, but it's just deflected in, and it was a goal for Scotland. Moving on to Group B, the first Group B game was Croatia versus Albania. Now, this ended 2-2, and it was Albania went ahead. Then it was very quickly 2-1 to Croatia. I remember seeing the notification. I was like, wow, that was quick. And then later on, Albania equalised, and now this result served neither of them. And now they're both on 1 point, and they both have to beat the two big teams that are in the the group. They have to beat Spain and Italy respectively, and I just don't see either of them doing it. And we'll see how it goes. Second Group B game, Spain versus Italy, and now I watched this entire game, among other Spain fans. Absolutely peppered them. Absolutely peppered them. Nico Williams was incredible, and it was a crime that he was taken off for a Jose Perez, the biggest downgrade in footballing history, man. Like, he was terrible. He had some good dribbling moments, but he had a one-on-one chance that he just completely fumbled. And I'm telling you right now, if that was Nico Williams, it's going in. No doubt about that. Is it going in? Jose Perez shot it like basically middle. One-on-one with Donnarumma. It's just ridiculous. It was ridiculous. Lamine Yamal also good. I think it was better against Croatia though. He had that one shot that almost went in. Nico Williams hit the bar. I'm surprised. All that happened was a 1-0 win for us due to an own goal. We absolutely peppered them. They only had one real big chance, the one that they squared across the box, and no Italy player was able to get a touch on it. That was really their only big chance, and they didn't score. We didn't really have too many big chances, like massive chances, but it was just all us. They barely had the ball. It was always in their half. And we just completely peppered them, and I'm so unhappy the fact that we didn't actually score a goal. It was only an own goal. Yeah, well, Italy, it was poor from them. I don't see them doing very well in this competition, really, because they weren't that great against Albania either. They were far from convincing against Albania, and Albania's early goal was due to a very easily avoidable mistake, and they came alight in 5 minutes and burned out in that game. And they weren't on it in this game either. So yeah, Calafiori had a good first game, but here, own goal, couldn't really stop any Spanish players really. Moving on to Group C now, and the first game of Group C was Slovenia versus Serbia. And now Slovenia, with this, they're not in a terrible place, but the final team they have to play is England. If they were so close to getting that win, and it would have qualified them, but no, Serbia ruined the party and equalised. But they've got 2 points. A win will confirm it. And with how Slovenia have been playing, and with how England have been playing, might be able to happen. I didn't watch this game either, but yeah. Second game, Denmark versus England. I watched some of this game. I've seen some of the stats. Ridiculous. England were awful. They just scored and they sat back. The average positions from between the time that England were winning was genuinely embarrassing. The fact that all of the players were basically in the box is ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. I just don't understand why you would do that after scoring in the first half. And then they kept sitting back for the rest of the game. They barely did anything, and it was just atrocious. Denmark weren't incredible, but they didn't need to be, because England was just so bad. The players were booed off, and it's just, I see why Southgate should have been sacked a long time ago, but England just keep doing just enough so that Southgate does look fine, but with the players that they've got, they should be doing so much better. On to Group D now, and we have Poland 1, Austria 3. Again, well, Poland are out now, and my prediction of putting them 4th is looking pretty good. I did put Austria 3rd. I think that also looking very good. Yeah, Austria have 3 points now, and they've got the Netherlands yet to play. I think they can get a draw, which qualifies them in 3rd. And I think France will win against Poland, and it will be done. And there's also France 0, the Netherlands 0. I couldn't watch any of this. In fact, I didn't get any highlight. I didn't get any notifications from it, but I didn't need to, because it was 0-0. There was that disallowed goal, which I'm pretty sure was very dubious, if I'm correct. I was on a plane during this one, so yeah, I came down ready to see what had happened, and nothing had happened. It was 0-0, and this group is looking a lot like how I predicted it, and I think it will finish that way. Now, Group E, only one of the games has happened so far, and that is Slovenia versus Ukraine. It was 2-1 to Ukraine. They were behind there, and it was looking like they were going to crash out of the tournament, but they did pull across and get that win, but Slovakia have looked pretty good in this tournament, and maybe they can go on and beat Romania. I really don't think they will. Well, the other game in Group B hasn't happened yet. We'll cut to it at the end, for me recording it, but before that happens, I'll predict Romania 2, Belgium 1. Now, Group F, we have Georgia versus the Czech Republic, and I did watch this. This is the first game of this round that I've watched. Second game actually. And I watched it right before recording the round 1 video. The goal that Czech Republic got was quite sloppy. The penalty, I did see it, but Georgia's only got a penalty so far. The only time they've been leading so far is through a penalty. I didn't see the disallowed goal for the Czech Republic, but yeah. I did hear the keeper was good. I didn't see a lot of it though. I wasn't paying enough attention. Either way, the sitter that Georgia missed right at the end of the game has cost them the tournament. They could have gone through had they scored that chance, and he's put it over, and he'll regret that for a long time, because I don't think Georgia are going to go and beat Portugal. I don't think it's going to happen. And the final game is Turkey versus Portugal, and it was a blowout. 3-0 to Portugal. The only goal I saw was the atrocious own goal there. I don't know why that's happened. I think it was a terrible decision from Cancelo as well. Should have passed it there to Ronaldo, and he just passed it into nowhere. And somehow it worked out for him. So maybe he knew, but it was genuine. I didn't see how it happened because the coverage cut away, because it just sort of nothing had happened. It was going to go repeat something, and then suddenly, boom, 2-0. And Turkey are looking like what I expected them to look like when I predicted them in 4th. And now the Romania-Belgium game has happened, and it was a 2-0 win. Very different to my 2-1 prediction in favour of Romania. And Romania weren't good enough in attack, really. They looked fine defensively. That was a big mistake for the second goal, the De Bruyne goal, which could have been disallowed because of, it was a studs up challenge really there to the goal, but he got to the ball first, so they've overlooked it. And the missed header there, and then there was just De Bruyne was there completely alone. He shouldn't be able to get into that situation straight off a goal kick, and it costed Romania there, and it finished off the game. Now this group is everyone has 3 points, and it can go any way. I think the teams that will qualify will be Ukraine, Belgium, Romania. I think Slovakia will miss out, because I think Romania will beat them. I'll say that game 3-1 Romania. I'll go with. Not the best result for Romania following the win against Ukraine, but they weren't terrible. Bratiu wasn't bad up against Doku. In fact, he was quite good. He shut him down a few times. Continues the trend of Doku not being able to perform against fullbacks under 33, and I think that's cool. And the group stages are done, and now it's time for the round 3 roundup, everyone. Well, the round 1 roundup did very, very well, and we're doing the round 3 one now. We don't talk about the round 2 one. Hopefully the round 3 can do it as well as the round 1. But here we go, and we're just going to be starting with Group A. And now this group had a very sparky end. It was Germany 1, Switzerland 1, and Scotland 0, Hungary 1. Well, some of the theatrics here no longer matter with hindsight. Well, Switzerland almost shocked Germany, almost beat them 1-0 until Füllkrug equalised very late on. It would have been Switzerland topping the group, surprisingly, and making my predictions even worse, had Füllkrug not scored. But it was 1-1 in the end. Germany finished top, and then Switzerland finished second with that result. The 1-0 to Hungary almost mattered, but in the end, Hungary were not able to qualify, as it was just Croatia that finished with a worse points total than them. But dramatic scenes at the end there when Scotland were also trying to qualify, which I don't even think a win there would have been enough for them anymore. I really thought the goal there was offside. I completely didn't react to the goal because I thought it was completely offside, and then it was given, and I was really surprised. But it must have been with the semi-automated offside. I trust it. Moving on to Group B now, and Spain really put out a B team here, and yet Ferran Torres was able to put a wonderful finish into the bottom corner, straight daggers into Albanian hearts. It was enough to kill them off. David Raya had a decent game here. He had a good few saves, and Albania weren't that good even against the B team. We played the likes of Jesus Navas, the likes of Torres that I mentioned earlier. Joselu played. David Raya, but yeah, even with that, it was enough to win. It was 1-1, Croatia versus Italy, a fiery end to that game, and Croatia were 30 seconds away from qualification here. It was so close, and Sakani struck that dagger in the 98th minute to send Italy through guaranteed, and it was very dramatic. Feel very bad for Croatia, but it did actually make my predictions completely spot on. First game of Group C here, England 0, Slovenia 0. A massive achievement for Slovenia, but England were completely off it. At the beginning of the game, they just kept lazily giving the ball away, and they kept crossing into box to no one. There was a moment where Foden was offside, but he crossed it in, and Saka just slipped, and he wouldn't have got there anyway. There's just no one in the box there for England. The way he gave the ball completely away and had to get a yellow to prevent the goal there. And England was just sloppy in defence. Slovenia managed to contain them in the end. And they just kept shooting from so far out. They didn't try to find the final pass. They just were shooting from far out. And when they did find that final pass, towards the end of the game, they just passed it to Palmer. And Palmer just hit it straight into the goalkeeper. A terrible finish. In the end, England were not good enough. And it was 0-0. And they're probably the worst team to top the group. Now, Denmark-Serbia was also a boring 0-0. Serbia were heavily pressing early on, but Denmark were dominating. They were able to deal with it. Mitrovic wasn't able to get past his man a moment towards the beginning, too slow. But Denmark also weren't able to finish their chances, and that's what really led to the 0-0. Mitro was diving and throwing to himself to the floor twice in the game, and he was really getting in the ref's face with no repercussion. I mean, the offside was very harsh. It was quite tight, and the own goal was just horrendously stupid. Just smacked it into his own goal. Just ridiculous. But yeah, that was Group C. Group D, another first game, France versus Poland. Dembele was absolutely horrendous here. An absolute car crash. Kept just hitting the ball straight at the goalkeeper, or passing the ball to nobody, or just losing the ball. Awful touches all game. Kante was actually pretty solid. He was winning the ball. He was doing some good passes. There was a moment where Hernandez just crossed the ball into nobody. They kept crossing the ball to nobody. There was just no one in the box for France. They completely dominated, and in the end it was 1-1, and they somehow didn't top this group. Also, the penalty, I don't know if it should have been retaken, because Levers started about 5 million times there. My nan, what's he going to do? What's he going to do? But, like, he's coming off his line. For the first stutter, he's on his line. The second stutter, he's on his line. The third one, he's off. It's like, I mean, at that point, Levers the one to blame. As I said, Mbappe wasn't very good either. He kept getting tackled, he was easily pocketed. I don't know, the maths doesn't seem to be doing him any favours. And then in the second half, Mbappe just put long shots, just expecting one to go in, and none of them were any good. Keeper wasn't really troubled, and it was quite selfish, and France really suffered from it. First pen was absolutely terrible though, from Lewandowski. Anyway, just in the end, France had 0 end product, Poland were lucky, Mbappe was ineffectual, Dembele was terrible, and Kante was pretty solid. Now the other game from Group D was the Netherlands versus Austria. Now this was a very exciting game. To begin with, that Marlon own goal was completely unnecessary. I don't know why he's down there as a right winger. It wasn't very good for the rest of the first half, but started making up for it for the second. Because in the first half, he scuffed a one-on-one wide, which could have left Netherlands in a better place. Verman was subbed off early for Xavi Simons. That was a big deal, really, for him at least. Wimmer was very lucky to be on the pitch, in my opinion. I think he should have been off. He rugby tackles someone, no card, and then he steps on someone, that's a card, but that should have been his second. It should have been his second. He definitely shouldn't have been on the pitch, and that definitely would have changed this game. There was Schmid down the right, and he would not run for anything if it was even slightly out of his range. He wouldn't run for it at all. Well, there was a goal very quickly off kickoff. It was pretty decent from Gakpo there, and then the 2-1 was absolutely woeful defending. He's on there on the line. The players somehow got through to begin with, and he's just flapped at it and it's gone in. Ridiculous, really. Very terrible defending. The Depay goal was a very nice finish. I definitely think it should have stood. The ball to Sabitzer was very nice, but the goalkeeping is very, very questionable. I don't know how he's been beaten that easily at his near post. And then again for a goal that was disallowed later. Obviously offside. But the keeping was absolutely atrocious. He's just gone like that. And it's somehow gone in his near post. He's terrible down his near post. And I think maybe attackers are going to start trying to exploit that. Weghorst missed the diving header late on as well. The Netherlands were quite wasteful. Austria were very clinical. And it was mostly in the Netherlands' favour, really. But Austria came away with the win. And that's Group D. Group E now. And how about we start with Romania versus Slovakia. Now, this was the only one of the with goals. And, well, Ratiu started off the game with a nice shot for Romania. And then that pearler of a cross came in. Beautifully delivered. But no defenders marking Duda there, who just heads it in easily. The Spanish commentators had a nice poem. They said, "No hay duda," which means there's no problem. There was also, before the goal, there was a cross from Slovakia that just went through about 8 players, 3 of which being Slovakia attackers who had just tucked it in, and none of them have gone for it. Pretty disappointing from them. Penalty was a bit dubious. The first bit of contact is outside, and I think that's the most damning, and there's a second slight bit of contact inside, and I think you should go off the first contact, if I'm going to be honest. But it's whatever. They were given the penalty. It was very nicely slotted into the top corner. Second half was very uneventful. Dragusin hit it right up into the air, and it was almost a big mix-up, but nothing came of it. Keeper just punched it away. There was a nice shot from Dragusin that almost went in, and that was kind of it. It was a pretty uneventful second half there. Both teams were celebrating at full time, and that's something you don't see very often. Now Ukraine versus Belgium, and Lukaku scuffed a multitude of attacks. And either he was missing a shot, missing the ball, not being able to get it across. Lukaku was woeful here. There was a laser pointer in the crowd. Ukraine were being very over physical in this game as well. There was a moment late on in the first half where Ukraine just squared it across the goal and there was no one there for them. Lukaku missed a Doku cross in the second half as well. Ukraine almost scored at a corner, but it was hit away by Casteels. And in this game, Lunin was actually pretty solid, making up for the Romania game, but it's his last game in Euro 2024 because Ukraine are going home because of it. Ukraine were very unlucky to go home in this group, 4 points, but they did. And that is the end of Group E. Now Group F. And we're going to start with Georgia versus Portugal. And the goal from Kavica Kvaratskhelia early on was very, very deadly off the counter. Antonio Silva lazily giving the ball away. And they were very deadly off that counter. They hit them immediately. And it was a very nice finish from Kavica Kvaratskhelia. Georgia were being very dangerous off the counter throughout the first half, but they couldn't find another goal there. Portugal were completely dominating. There was a moment where Conceição hit the ball into the ground and somehow wide when the keeper wasn't really there. Ronaldo got a yellow card for getting the referee's face and for diving. Well, actually, no, he didn't get carded for diving and was in the referee's face again later. Ridiculous. Ronaldo should have been off the pitch. There's no doubt about it. Portugal really didn't have any end product in this first half, in the entire game, really. There was a very good block from Diwali in the second half to deny Ronaldo his first Euro 2024 goal. There was a good cross into the box that was missed by the first player, and then Kavica has scuffed it. There was an absolutely insane Mamashvili save that didn't matter in the end because there was a penalty beforehand. Also conceded by Antonio Silva. Awful game from him. The penalty was almost saved, but it did go in the end. And Gonçalo Ramos missed a late. It was a cross goal, and he just didn't put a foot out at all. Really could have made it 2-1 there for Portugal. And finally, Turkey versus the Czech Republic. Well, Turkey weren't dominating until the red card. Czechia were mostly dominating before that red card. But yeah, it was definitely second yellow. I haven't seen the first yellow, but the second yellow absolutely completely deserved. Yildiz also could have been off the pitch because there was a stamp not too soon after. There was a stamp that gave him a yellow, and then not too soon after, he was arguing with the referee. He committed another foul. It was an elbow. I mean, lucky to be on the pitch. There was a 1-on-1 with Czechia late on in the second half that they missed. Well, the first goal for Turkey was an incredible block, then it was an incredible save, and then Çalhanoğlu has just hit that so sweetly. The way that ball moves makes me feel things ridiculously good. The Czech Republic goal was a goal. In my opinion, it's a goalkeeper foul. I don't think it should have stood but it really didn't matter in the end. There was a moment where a player was up and he did a fake shot and then he shot and it was saved easily. Really could have scored that one, but it didn't matter because then Cenk Tosun scored later. Pretty decent finish, but before that there was a goal from Czech Republic that was disallowed because it was whistled early. I think it should have stood. I do not think it should have been a foul in the favour of Turkey. If anything, it should have been a foul in the favour of the Czech Republic first because it hit a hand, an arm, but that's a handball. Either way, it was 2-1 in the end, and I think Czech Republic have had some decisions that are against them that really shouldn't have been against them, but that's how it ended in the end. And of course, who could forget the scrap at the end that led to a yellow card to Arda Güler and another Turkish player, and a red card for Chori. I mean, I really don't think he'll care because they're out of the competition. Hello everyone, and the round of 16 is over. And it's time to look at all the games and talk about them. Talk about how they went, talk about what happened in them, talk about my opinions on them. And we'll be doing the same for every single round of the competition. Like the group stage, round 1, round 2, round 3. We're also continuing this for the knockouts. So let's just begin with Italy-Switzerland. They were completely run amok. They couldn't get anything out on Switzerland really here. I mean, Switzerland could have even scored more. Really here. Embolo missed a one-on-one there with Donnarumma. I mean, the first goal there, it's not great defending. It's a brilliant run from Freuler. Vargas has done well to find him. Donnarumma almost had it. He could be doing better, but you have to remember there's a deflection there. And Italy in the first half were wasteful with it. They were wasteful with it, and they were wasteful with the rest of the game as well. And goal in the fastest second half goal in Euros history there, and what a goal to do it. A brilliant ball into the top corner there. Italy really, after the second goal, were just completely switched off. They couldn't get the ball. They really weren't trying there to try and bring it back, and they were just hopeless. I mean, there was a moment where Ndoye tried a bicycle kick, and he missed it and he didn't score. And Switzerland, I mean, Italy at points were just trying to pressure them, but Italy weren't doing alright, or Switzerland was just dealing with it easily. Calm is like side passing it around, just fine for them, easy to deal with. And Germany versus Denmark now, and well, early on there was a goal for Schlitterbach that was disallowed. I think it could go either way. I'm not too partial on the decision. There's a few things in there that could have chalked it off, and in the end, goalkeeper foul. Fair enough. And in Denmark, there's an incredible ball over the top to Eriksen, who touches down brilliantly, but there was a good block there from Ridiger. Well, just Denmark really in the first half, they were pretty much just on top, completely on top there for the first half. And then the rain and the lightning came, and for the first time I've seen in a professional match, it was called off halfway through for adverse weather conditions. What is this? Sunday League? Absolutely ridiculous. And then later, when the game finally resumed, Højlund had a one-on-one that was basically stopped by the rain. Because had it been a dry, sunny day, that wouldn't have got so far away from him, and he probably would have buried that, and it would have been 1-0 to Denmark. Denmark have been knocked out by the rain here. Incredible stuff there. And then there's the penalty. Well, there's no doubt about the fact that it has hit his hand. It's hit his hand. It's grazed his hand. But is it affecting the play? Is it affecting the cross? I really don't think so. I don't think it's really affected the ball or its direction very much, and I think it's very harsh to call it a penalty. But under the guidelines that the refs have been given for the Euros, yes, it should be given. They've been given the mics for that exact reason. They've been given the mics so they can hear the slightest graze. Although I think the slightest graze shouldn't really be a penalty. And then Havertz, well, disastrously missed a one-on-one. And while he's doing that, he has a play that he could have squared it to, and they just topple over. It's so comical. And he's trying to chip the keeper, and it's gone just wide. Really should have put that away, should have Germany. And I don't know how they didn't. But that disallowed goal, it was very, very close. But I guess it is offside, and by the letter of the law, it is offside, but really, it's really harsh. It's really, from first glance, it looked more offside to me, but it is quite harsh, and Denmark will be quite peeved by the fact that isn't the reason why the offside rule was implemented. I see, but I mean, by the letter of the law, it should be given. Yes, it should be given as offside, but it's not why offside was introduced, and I think that's why people are trying to reform it at the moment. And later, Havertz one-on-one not one-on-one, but he did square it to Sané, who somehow just completely missed the goal. And then Musiala was in, and Musiala hit it straight at the goalkeeper, and then that was it. That was really it for this game. Germany win 2-0. On to the next game. And now England versus Slovakia, and this was so close to the hate watch to end all hate watches, but it wasn't to be. I mean, early on, Slovakia were completely dominating England. They looked absolutely woeful here. Absolutely woeful. And England, they couldn't find a final pass. They were passing it to nobody, really. And when it came to the goal, Slovakia were given so much space to work in. It was a good ball to Scrans, but Scrans tucks it home easily. Pickford maybe could have easily saved it. I mean, the person who passed it to Scrans also had another player on the left that he could have passed it to. And England, they were just defending terribly here. Absolutely terribly. And then after conceding, England they sit back. I mean, I can sort of get it after scoring. Even then, it's horrendously stupid. But after conceding, you saw the defenders back. You saw everyone, most people, just back. What are you trying to do there? It's just ridiculous to try and do that after conceding. And then Saka got past his man and crossed it into nobody. Saka completely ineffectual in this game, and then got put at left back. It was getting easily pocketed by the left back up against him. I mean, Slovakia almost scored a halfway line goal as well. And Kane missed a header from almost what could be point blank range, really. And then Rice hit the post. And then Southgate brought off Mainu. Don't know what the fuck was going on there. Don't know why they would bring off most likely their best player. Then fucking belly goal was there again. Bicycle kick. I mean, this man will drop stinker after stinker after stinker. And then at the very last second, as his team is about to get eliminated or lose the match, okay, he just fucking turns up. He's just there. And he's biceyed it. It's just ridiculous. And then he doesn't celebrate. It's just, I don't get it. I don't get the whole nonchalant thing. Like, you scored a 95-minute bicycle kick to take your team to extra time. You can celebrate. And then in the interviews after, being like, I'll only be happy after we see what happens in 2 weeks. Just shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up, man. You're 20. You're a young player, like 20. All right. Why are you acting like this? Maybe, I mean, we'd probably still laugh at a 30-year-old for doing this, but you're 20, man. Stop trying to act like some kind of mentality monster. Like, bro, it's it's just a joke. And then the goal for Kane was just ridiculous. It was so scabby. Eze scuffed the shot. It's hit the floor, gone up. Tony's just put it wherever. It somehow ended on Kane's head. And on a side note, Tony's probably put a tenner on him getting an assist there. It's just some crazy stuff there. And then England were able to see out the 2-1, and that was it. Now, Spain versus Georgia, and now this was a wonderful game. Not the first half, though. After that first goal went in, I kind of wanted to end it all. But yeah, the first goal Spain have conceded all tournament, it's an own goal as well by a French person. I don't know what's going on there. That's some woke nonsense. But yeah, then Rodri does his signature, just side-footing it to the bottom corner. He's got it completely unlocked right before half-time. That was brilliant. Second goal. The second goal, decent header there from Fabian there, but the cross from Lamine Yamal was ever so delectable. What a cross. 16-year-old pulling this shit. He wasn't great going up front, but his creative output was incredible. He wasn't great in shooting positions, though, I will have to say. The third goal, incredible there from Nico Williams to get past this man. The finish is absolutely sublime. And then Dani Olmo with an also incredible goal to see out this match. Incredible play here from Spain. Georgia, again, like in the Portugal game, were incredible and deadly off the counter. and scored from it once and almost scored many times from it after that and before that too. But Spain mostly had them contained. It's just whenever Spain didn't have the ball, it's because Georgia had managed to will it onto the under end of the pitch somehow. But yeah, and next was France versus Belgium, and my word, was this boring. What a boring game. I mean, it almost a 0-0, but Jan Vertonghen decided to just stick out a foot and let it go into his own net. I wasn't able to watch this game, and well, all I've seen is the stats, and I've heard from people that this game was as boring as can be. And France still yet to score a goal from open play, the only team ever to reach the quarterfinals of the Euros by doing so without scoring a goal from open play. It's just ridiculous. And it was just an absolute snore fest. And Jan Vertonghen, as he sent his country home, because it was so unnecessary. It was so unnecessary to just stick a foot out there. And he caught out Casteels because of it. And it's just not good from Belgium. Neither team were good here, and France are looking so ridiculously unconvincing. Another snorefest, Portugal versus Slovenia. This was so unbelievably boring as well. And Portugal were just not good. Portugal they just didn't have any end product. They had Ronaldo up top, and it's just ridiculous. Why? Why is Ronaldo still playing? He missed a penalty in this one, and that's pretty much the only thing he's good at, and he's missed one. It's just ridiculous for him to still be playing. There's better players, okay? Put Gonçalo Ramos there. Like, it's just, come on. What are you doing? And the rest of the players, they weren't good either. Bernardo Silva, ineffectual. João Felix was on the bench. João Felix, also better than Ronaldo. Put him on. Ridiculous. Bruno Fernandes, not good either. But in the end, man of the match, Diogo Costa, who also saved the Šeško one-on-one late into extra time. And then saved all 3 Slovenian penalties. What? Absolutely crazy. And in this, from that Šeško one-on-one, Pepe really showed his age there by just slipping it, and then just, yeah, and once he lost it, he had nothing in it whatsoever. It wasn't good from Pepe, and this is why you don't put a 41-year-old in at centre-back. I feel like some of the selection choices for Portugal are based purely on just nostalgia and who's played more, who's got more stature in the game instead of who's got more talent. And then there was Romania versus the Netherlands, and now I wasn't able to catch a lot of this game. I was able to catch the last 2 goals, and I saw the first goal. I've heard from Romanians, but only Romanians, that the refereeing was terrible, meaning might be a bit of bias there, but maybe not. I just want to say as well, but Gakpo scoring at his near post, that's definitely a shot the keeper should be stopping there. He should not be beaten that easily at his near post there. And then Donyell Malen had that tap in, incredible from Gakpo to keep it on. And then Malen with an incredible counter attack that he starts and finishes himself, taking it from around his box and going around and scoring. It's not as good as the Son one because he hasn't really gone through any defenders there. He's gone around the wing and then kind of cut inside and scored it. But yeah, just solid from the Netherlands. Excited to see how they do against Turkey. I think they should be able to win. And finally, we have Turkey versus Austria. And I don't know what has happened here against Austria. Super unclinical. Look at their XG. They scored 1 goal from 3.14 XG. What? Like, that's insane. How unclinical can it be? Of course, do you want to say that last minute header was worth 0.94 XG and they didn't score it? An incredible save, but should be scoring it. It was so close for Austria and they really should have won it here. Surprising for how well they did in the group stage to come into knockouts and bomb out like this against a team as bad as Turkey. Turkey were not good. Turkey were not looking good at all. But they are through now and they'll play the Netherlands, and you've got to wonder, when is it going to end? Because they've been playing terribly, but they've never really seemed to be punished. And the quarterfinals are now over, so it's time to get into the quarterfinal roundup. First up, we have Spain versus Germany, and what a lovely little game we had here. What was basically the final happening in the quarterfinals, and just stupid that it happened so early in the quarterfinals. These two massive powerhouses going against each other. And the first half, there was nothing really big in terms of chances, really. But there was terrible refereeing. Cruz, really, he should have been off in the first half, injuring Pedri there twice. 2 fouls against Pedri, very targeted. And Cruz, I mean, it wasn't just this, it was tight. He got a yellow card later and kept fouling. This man had about 11 yellow card offences and stayed on for 120 minutes. And the Germans, they kept on fouling, and there was a bit from Spain as well, but Anthony Taylor had an absolute shocker. Going into the second half, there was that opportunity for Morata, who got around his man. It was a very nice pass there, but he got around his man, and he absolutely skied it. Really should have put that at least on target. And then came the beauty of a goal. Lamine Yamal picks it up, he gives it off into an open bit of space where he sees Olmo running into, who taps it, side foots it, it's the Rodri finish, lovely, into the bottom corner, the bottom left-hand corner, an absolute beautiful finish. And Spain, while not having most of the possession, kept putting on pressure, having more and more chances, except there was a few chances as well for Germany. There are two that I can think of. There was the mistake in the back line, the goal kick that went into defence, the defence make a hash of it. Havertz is through on goal. Simon's coming out to deal with Havertz, and Havertz goes for the chip and just misses. It's that Arsenal in him that made him miss that golden opportunity to level it for Germany. Later came cross into the box, Füllkrug and I think it was Nacho, Füllkrug and Nacho, they're grabbing each other, no penalty there, obviously, because they're grabbing each other, they're equally fouling each other, they both have hands on each other's shirts, and he kind of slips back anyway, he slipped back to reach the ball, really? So he slipped back to reach the ball, and he's just hit the post, another big opportunity for Germany. And then came the hustle around the box, someone heads it back into the play, the Spanish defence turn around to see who's got it, it's already in the back of the net. Wirtz, a beautiful finish, mind you, into the ground, onto the post, and in. There was that Cucurella handball, and I want to talk about the Cucurella handball right now. I don't think it's a penalty. Füllkrug, firstly, is offside. Füllkrug is offside. And the Euros had a bunch of rule changes. It had a bunch of rule changes and clarifications before the competition started. One of the rule changes you may have heard of was the fact that any player that isn't the captain, talk to the referee, gets booked. Alongside that, they said if like a hand is behind, something like behind, or it's like tucked in, as it was with Cucurella, it's not given a handball. People bring into the question the Denmark one, but the thing is, the Denmark one is his hands outstretched. I don't think the Denmark one should be a penalty either, because it's just grazed. It's because his hand is here. There's nothing about grazing. It doesn't specify about grazing. That's why they brought the sound in, really, to see if it hits the hand at all. Either way, it was offside anyway, so there's no need to debate it. Then came extra time. Nothing really came here except for more and more fouls. Then, in the second half of extra time, the first half of extra time, there was Florian Wirtz. It's wide. I think there was also wide from Füllkrug as well. Then Mikel Merino. It's a beautiful cross in from Dani Olmo, who had a beautiful, beautiful game. Good to have him over. He's done better than Pedri has recently. So I think Pedri getting injured for the rest of the tournament is a bit of a blessing. I think Olmo, even if Pedri wasn't injured, I think Olmo should have he should start instead of Pedri for the next game. Either way, the cross comes in. Mikel Merino with a fucking weird heading technique heads it in. Me, my brother, my dad, we all went, oh fuck, because we all thought it went wide. It looked like it went wide, and then I just see the net tussle, and I go, and it's a goal. It's a goal. It was a goal. It was a goal for Spain. It was incredible. And then Füllkrug, I believe, had a chance late on to send it to penalties, and he didn't, and that was the game. Next up is France versus Portugal, and this was a snorefest. Oh my word, was it a snorefest. I'm not going to spend nearly as much time talking about this game as I did the Spain game, because it was 0-0. Nothing really happened. The first half, they had a combined under 0.2 XG combined, but I think it was 0.6 and 0.9. That's 0.5. That's not 0.6, 0.5, 0.06 and 0.05. That is woeful. That is absolutely woeful. And then the second half, France started to put on the pressure, but they kept putting it wide, straight at the keeper, maybe a couple good saves from Diogo Costa, but really nothing much came of the game. It went to penalties, and João Felix missed the decider. And that's how it ended. Moving on, we're on to England versus Switzerland. And once again, we were this close to a generational hate watch. But it wasn't to be. I think the Swiss mostly dominated. Harry Kane playing as a CDM most of this game isn't great for him. I mean, he's taking this deep-lying forward role to an extreme. Because he did do this against for Tottenham. He would drop deep. He would drop deep for Tottenham. But not like this. He would also come up, but Kane wasn't there. Passes to nobody. Why? Kane isn't there. Bellingham, not very good. Another stinker from Bellingham. Really, these last-minute goals are masking up being shit. Bukayo Saka turned up, was pretty good here. Kobe Mainu was also very nice. It went to a penalty shootout, and they scored all of them. They scored every single penalty from England did. They've got a generation of very good pen takers, really. And there was also Trent saying that someone didn't want to take one. Wow. I also want to brush back a bit to the Embolo goal. Really shouldn't have happened. Stones should have been able to clear it instead of just putting it off to him. Kyle Walker should have been in front of Embolo. I don't know why Embolo's been allowed to be in front of him. I don't know why Embolo's been allowed to get a touch on that and be able to score. Bukayo Saka goal, I mean, it was perfect. Absolutely perfect. Exactly what England needed. And the final game is the Netherlands versus Turkey. And, well, I wasn't able to watch the first half or the first goal either, but I did get to watch the second half. Verbruggen, I thought, was very, very good. It was a good turnaround from the Netherlands. Great defensively. Mickey van der Ven was quality. Was only on for 17 minutes. Had a headed clearance. Had a block on the line. Was just very, very decent. Very, very decent as a defender there. And he's helped him, the whole defense really helped them there. Is a rocket header from De Vrij there. And another own goal that sent Turkey out here. The defender didn't need to be there, because if the defender wasn't there, Gakpo has no pressure on him and he puts it away. But instead, he's put pressure on Gakpo, and Gakpo's not been able to touch it, but instead he's touched it and it's gone in, and it's through his own fault. And then Verbruggen, towards the end of the game, a couple really good saves to keep the Netherlands at the top. And in the end, they won it. They won it all. Well, the semi-finals are now over, and so you know what that means. It is time to round up all these games and have my take on them. First up, we have Spain versus France, and this has a lot to talk about, especially in the first half. Well, the first real chance of the half was a cross-in and a header from Rata that went just over. Realistically, could have put that away and really altered the course of this match, but wasn't to be. And then, not too long afterwards, Mbappe comes up. He's got Jesus Navas in front of him, who's claiming for handball initially, and then immediately gets back into position and shows his age and really can't do anything against Mbappe, who puts a lovely cross into Kolo Muani, who headers home France first and now only goal in open play. The joint lowest amount of goals in open play in the entire competition, and they went through to the semis. The other team, Serbia, who got easily grouped. Spain tend to react well to this goal and started to put on the pressure, and then later it falls to Lamine Yamal, who goes right, goes back left, looking around. Adrien Rabiot's in front of him, and he decides, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to absolutely leather this. And he puts it so perfectly into the top corner, and it makes it 1-0 to Spain. And then just 4 minutes later, France looked to clear it, and Dani Olmo plucks it out and managed to also kick it away from William Saliba, and then just smashes it in. An incredible goal. On first glance, I thought this was an own goal, but after watching the highlights, realised no, it was on target. It was definitely not an own goal, and it was definitely Dani Olmo's goal. Somehow, Dani Olmo here, joint top scorer in the Euros. Absolutely ridiculous. I don't know how he's done that, especially spending most of this entire tournament as a rotation player. This is his, second start, and it's his only game where he started where he scored. I think his other start was the Albania game, where we just rotated everyone. That was pretty much it for the first half, and then into the second half, this was a whole lot more boring. 0 goals in the second half. Quite a few chances though. Efforts from Mbappe, Hernandez, and Lamine Yamal all flew over the bar, and really all could have done better. Spain did really well to just soak up pressure and can keep their lead, defended pretty well. So did France for the most part. Pretty much the least clinical team in this entire competition have now gone home. Moving on to England versus the Netherlands. And now I didn't catch all of this match. In fact, I didn't catch most of this match, I missed. But I did see the Xavi Simons goal, saw the replays of it. Pretty good finish. Declan Rice got to be doing better there. Really got to be doing better there in a semi-final. Then I did watch the build-up and the build-up to the penalty. And then I did watch the penalty as well. Absolutely ridiculous. It's not a pen. It's absolutely not a pen. If anything, I mean, it's just not a foul. Kane has kicked Dumfries there, and Dumfries is solely going for the ball. It's in no universe is that a penalty. I don't even think it's contentious. It's just not a penalty. And Harry Kane, of course, he's taking his chance. Verbruggen almost reaches it, but Denzel Dumfries actually had a pretty decent game there. Had a block on the line and was able to contain England pretty well for most of the match. Foden had a few efforts and was close to finally getting a goal in this competition that's not offside, but not to be in the end. But still, Ollie Watkins late on a brilliant finish and a brilliant assist from Cole Palmer. Gary Southgate finally making some subs that do something, but even then he still hadn't used all his subs until the 93rd minute. Ridiculous. He needs to be using his subs, and he can't continue to just not use his subs against Spain. Well, the final is now over, and with it, all of Euro 2024. So now let's get right into my final roundup. Let's just get straight into it then. I just want to say the first half was just a little boring, wasn't it? We were seeing traces of a good match coming up, but nothing really materialized in a goal. It was kind of end to end, but mostly you were seeing Spain on the ball, but the attacks were kind of shared, probably more in Spain's favour. I've seen English people saying that the referee was terrible. In the first half, yes, definitely, but in your favour, giving away some stupid fouls. I mean, originally I thought the Olmo foul, that's not a foul. Then I saw, okay, fair enough, he's got him in the chest. But there were some other ones where I thought, no. Like, the foul right at the end of the half, not a foul. Here as well, Lamine Yamal dropped a little bit of a stinker here in the first half at the very least. Was pretty ineffectual up against Luke Shaw, who was here back from injury. I mean, when the alternative is Kieran Trippier, who isn't a right back, who hasn't had the best season, you know, you've got to try something else, because it just wasn't working, really. Kieran Trippier was not good in this tournament. He's just lucky he played against terrible teams. Kane was mostly invisible here, didn't do well, and was taken off soon into the second half. Nico Williams also didn't do much here, but it was pretty decent. I mean, no one really did much. There was no goals, of course. Alvaro Morata got the ball a few times, didn't really do anything with it. Rodri picked up a knock that led to him coming off into the second half, and I thought it was fully over. I've seen people completely, dismiss Rodri's part in this win. He was incredible. Player of the tournament, easily player of the tournament. With Rodri on the pitch, this game would have finished 2-0. That Palmer shot would have been stopped. You saw Zubamendi get a bit of a touch on it, but with Rodri, he's fully blocked it. He would have fully blocked it, like he blocked that Kane shot late into the first half. Do not dismiss Rodri in this win. Into the second half now, and, well, as I said earlier, Rodri came off right before it started. I was seriously like, oh, it's over. England are going to win this now. And they could have very well nearly without his presence. As I said earlier, goal wouldn't have gone in. But very early into the second half, 47th minute, just a minute in, Lamine Yamal plays a ball into Dani Olmo, who just about can't reach it and lets it run off to Nico Williams, who slots it just perfectly into that bottom right corner. Could Pickford do a little bit better? I think maybe. I don't think Pickford is the best keeper, really. I don't particularly rate him. And Spain kept up their domination, and Olmo got so close and really should have put it away. Alvaro Morata got in as well, but that was a very, very tough. If he scored that, that would have been insane. And then England found themselves about 10 to 15 minutes of having the ball, getting a few chances, and it led to Saka bringing it in, Bellingham just sticking out a foot, see what happens, and Palmer just beautifully tucking it home. Anyone who says, oh, Bellingham knew what he's doing, oh, Bellingham got an assist, that was so perfect, fuck off. Genuinely fuck off, because Bellingham has been so utterly dreadful this tournament. Either way, England kept up a bit of their spell of domination for about 3 to 4 minutes, and then it was back into Spain's hands. Anyone who was like, oh yeah, England, they had like 10 to 20 minutes of domination, and then Spain scored and absolutely sucker punched them. It was against the wrong play. Were you watching the match? They had about 3 or 4 minutes after the goal that they were still in control, and then Spain just took their grip hold back onto the game. And Oyarzábal's goal was during a spell of Spanish domination. And it's ridiculous to say otherwise. People saying that the offside was fishy. They showed it. It was onside. They didn't really show the VAR check because they were showing the celebrations. But there was a VAR check. They showed it afterwards. It's probably what happened with the penalty, the Cucurella handball. 2 things with that penalty as well. It's come out that exact situation was flagged in a meeting before the Euro started with the referees, and they said, this is not a penalty. Do not give this as a penalty. And also, Füllkrug was offside, and they probably checked it, saw he was offside, and really, that was the VAR check. Either way, I saw the ball go out. I think it was Yamal who played it out. It was probably Nico, because it was on the left-hand side. I can't remember. Who played it out to Cucurella, who Cucurella puts in such a delectable, beautiful cross into Oyarzábal, who just puts it straight forward. Pickford's just not seeing it. He thinks he's going to try and get it to the other corner. No, straight forward into the back of that, and Spain win the Euros. Oh, it was wonderful. I thought the celebrations, the stage looked a bit weird. It was not what you're used to seeing with it. It just looked a bit underwhelming. The trophy lift, you know, because Alvaro Morata was on the floor, you know. I think they should have been on the stage. You know what I mean? Either way, it was beautiful. It was wonderful. Spain have become the team that have won the Euros the most. The single-handed most. It was equal with Germany, and now Spain have won it for the 4th time. Spain have won it each decade, every decade this century. Just insane. And will they go, and will they win another next decade? We'll just have to wait and see. And could they go again and win the World Cup and the Euros in between? Could they do it? Let's just see if they could recreate 2008 to 2012. This is an incredible golden generation we're bringing up at the moment, and I'm excited to see what they could do in the future. Well, that was me watching and reviewing every single game of Euro 2024. Well, really, it's just me mashing up all the roundups together, but I thought I'd do a special clip to just outro it. If you've watched this, it's a fucking miracle. Because if you sat through an hour and 7 minutes of just re-uploaded roundups, you're a fucking legend. If you're new, there's no fucking chance you're new. There's no way this is your first video and you've watched all the way to here. Either way, if you're new, leave a sub and a like. And if you're not new and you're just a veteran who's decided, you know what, I'm going to give this guy this watch time, thank you. And make sure to leave a like so other people can see it. That's it from me. I'll see you next time.